In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I went from $7,000 a month in my B2B lead gen agency to $21,000 a month. Let's hop straight into it. I'm gonna show you exactly how you can do this as well and get similar results to me. Right here on the Stripe dashboard, what I'm gonna show you guys is May of 2024. So the 1st through the 31st, we only transacted $1 in my agency. This was absolute rock bottom. Remember at this time, before I was at Barnes & Noble's, just making different note cards for books. And I remember I took this photo and I thought to myself, holy crap, I'm not in a good position. 1 month later, I installed this LinkedIn Sales Navigator outbound system and we scaled to $7,000, roughly a top line revenue. And the next month after that was $21,000. Now, most of you guys who run agencies hit a wall around $5,000 to $10,000 a month. And that's exactly where I was not too long ago. And this exact playbook and this exact system, utilizing, of course, like I said, LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Find Email, which is also what I teach to get similar results in 90 days. So it's exactly how I skyrocketed step by step. So like I said, I was making notes of these books and I was, totally, as you can tell, I'm a pretty big book guy. And I was extremely happy about reading, but at the same time, I wasn't getting the results and I felt like an imposter. Now, there's only 3 reasons why you are not scaling past the revenue mark you're at right now. It's either you have inconsistent pipeline, you have poor customer fulfillment, and you have no backend to scale without breaking, okay? So the very software that I use to achieve these results is Find Email and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Now, what we want to do is we want to be able to source these leads in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, especially if you're a B2B lead gen agency, which most of you guys are watching this video, you run an agency of some kind. You need to have a predictable way to generate leads, how to capture leads, how to export leads, and how to send to leads. Now, mind you, everything I have in a step-by-step blueprint in my backend module. So everything I have hosted on School, it's part of the program. What I do is I make sure and I have a guarantee that you will hit $20K a month in your B2B lead gen agency in 90 days. I have every single SOP, backend system, PDF, JSON file to actually be able to guarantee this result at scale. I do this for hundreds of people inside of the consulting group. So if you want, and if you're interested, booking a call, it's gonna be that first link right down below. Go straight to my Calendly page and you'll be able to speak to me and see if it's a good fit. Now, mind you, like I said before, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the most predictable way for you to source, scrape, and export leads, okay? Using the different filtering mechanisms inside of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it allows you to not only send to their LinkedIn profile, but it also sends them a notification on their Gmail or whatever service provider email they use as well. So it's 2 birds and 1 stone. I was stuck at having a few referrals. I was sending cold emails at this time. I didn't have LinkedIn set up. I didn't have HeyReach set up, any of these automation platforms like Clay, where you can personalize messages, and I was running fulfillment by myself. It's not sustainable. You cap out fast. And I noticed out of the hundreds of agency owners that I speak to, you cap out around the $7,000 to $10,000 a month mark when you're at this point when it comes to fulfillment. You cannot fulfill anymore because you are taking a decent amount of sales calls, and then the customers that you do have, you have poor client fulfillment because you're not able to spend as much time on them, and you don't solve these, you stall. But you solve them, you scale 20K a month fast, okay? So the actual playbook is LinkedIn Sales Nav, Find Email, LinkedIn Sales Nav to outreach to the leads, and HeyReach, okay? Here's another picture of me working. I was on the clock here just so you guys can see for documentation purposes at Barnes & Noble's. Obviously nothing against Barnes & Noble's at all. So offer clarity and repositioning is the first thing we want to fix. Without this, we're not able to actually send our outbounds in LinkedIn Sales Nav, and we're not actually able to articulate and deliver the value that we want for our offer. So we need to be repositioned as outcome based. Most of you guys are saying, we will run a specific amount of paid ads for a duration, okay? And so you could say for 90 days. But in reality, what does it actually get the customer, okay? It gets them what? Booked calls or booked demos. Without a clear offer, you will not be able to position yourself as the authority figure. Now, the first thing I have here in this classroom section is the outbound offering section. I have offer revamp. It's 34 minutes where I have 2 different assets where I go exactly over the offers that work strictly for outbound audiences. And if you don't have one of these 2 assets for your offer, if you're sending outbound or if you're running paid ads, it's not going to convert as well as it should. You're gonna end up spending a lot more money on paid ads, and you're actually gonna end up sending a lot more cold outreach than you really thought you would if you were using this system. So if you're not using this, you're gonna send a lot more of those, okay? Hyper-targeted niche is mainly the second thing. You need to look at your business overall and ask yourself, what am I doing here, okay? Are you targeting B2B software companies? Let's use this as an example. If we just target B2B software companies, that encompasses an entire demographic of software companies, pretty much anyone that sells to another business. But if I say we service B2B fintech software companies earning $5 million in ARR, that lessens the pool of existence, therefore making our outreach message a little bit more personalized and helps us have that unique edge over our competition. Starting off, especially if you're between $5,000 to $10,000 a month, the best thing to do in your agency is to pick a hyper-targeted niche and become an expert around that. And as Alex Hormozi says, start off in the pool, move to the lake, and then obviously when you become the king of the lake, you move out to the ocean and the blue oceans and everything like that. So focus on one painkiller service, your contingent guarantee, your sales process, and everything like that, all right? Backend systems, as far as this goes, if you're booking a certain amount of calls, you need to be able to hire a contractor and build a repeatable system to give them. An SOP is gonna be great in terms of training up people, and focusing on closing and managing them is gonna come number 2, okay? So even a VA, a contractor, anything like that, you need to be able to have something to fulfill. Now, like I said, all of these sections are covered inside of what I show you guys in the inner circle. But the best thing you can do is simply just write down inconsistent pipeline, poor customer fulfillment, no back-end scale without breaking. You're watching hundreds of these videos that you see agency owners have success, and you're not really doing anything with your entrepreneurial journey, and you're just kind of like taking up this advice and you're not really using it to help you, and you're not really focusing on this advice. You could watch 101 videos after mine with similar agency owners who scaled and break past plateaus, but if you do not write down information and you don't take any action or book calls, you can't expect anything to change in your business, because guess what? You don't need more information. You don't really need more courses. You don't really need more of any of that. All you need is implementation and the right vision and the right path towards success. And that doesn't come from a YouTube video. YouTube videos will point out exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix them in a certain way, but obviously I can't give you everything in this video. So obviously, as soon as my business started doing pretty well, I wanted to buy a freaking V8. I just bought a charger a few months ago, and I was like, hell, I deserve this shit. I might as well. And honestly, this is probably the biggest payoff of my agency. People thinking I sell drugs when I make my money and drive a car, and instead of just thinking I have an online business, okay? Most people just think I sell drugs. Anyways, that shift was tactical. It was a huge mental shift for me. I stopped focusing on the problems that most agency owners fix, and I started thinking about how I can replicate their success. And I went from 7K a month to 21K a month, typo here, in 90 days. This was a 90-day time frame. So my hours of work dropped, my confidence skyrocketed, and my systems were locked in. So obviously you guys can book on a call down below. I'm not gonna harp you on that, but I'm gonna be going over very quickly before this video ends. I'm gonna recap the exact system that I just went over, okay? So, we are using LinkedIn Sales Navigator as the B2B database. We are filtering out company position, company head. We're filtering out these different things inside of the businesses, okay? We are then exporting this lead list using Find Email, which is a software that scrapes these leads, into Google Sheets. From there, there's a very specific way to filter out these leads in Google Sheets. So you're gonna filter out these sheets in Google Sheets, and you are going to send in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because LinkedIn Sales Navigator will not only just send to their LinkedIn profile, but it will also send to their inbox. This is the fastest, most predictable way that has allowed me to scale. I can only make so many of these videos preaching to you guys and telling you guys how exactly this has changed my life, but if you don't take any action with this playbook, it's not going to do anything for you. After using LinkedIn Sales Navigator and this specific outreach system with HeyReach and a few different softwares, the entire agency game changed for me, and it started becoming less churn and burn and less where's my next customer gonna come from, and it became an actual happy business that I actually enjoyed running, because I wasn't worried about front end, and I could just kind of focus on hiring out people for the back end and getting money. So like I said, if you want similar results, it's gonna be that first link right down below. Hope this video helped. Let me know if you guys have any questions or any comments down there in the comment section as well. I'll speak to you guys soon. Have a great one. Peace.